Okay, let's dive right into Ezra chapter 3 today.
Sounds good. It's a really pivotal moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're talking about the Israelites just returning from exile in Babylon.
Back in Jerusalem. And facing this, well, huge task.
Huge is right. Rebuilding everything, essentially. Their lives, the city, but especially their spiritual heart, the temple.
So where do they even begin? What are those first steps like, on the ground?
Well, the text, it lays out a pretty specific sequence.
Right. It says when the seventh month came around, people had sort of settled back into their towns a bit.
And then they all gather in Jerusalem, like with one mind.
Exactly. And the leaders are Jeshua the priest, Zerubbabel the governor, so you've got religious and civil authority together.
Okay, so what's task number one?
Mhm.
Clearing the rubble, starting walls.
Actually, no. It's pretty striking. Their absolute first priority, before anything else really, was rebuilding the altar of God.
The altar, just the altar, even before the temple foundation.
Yep. The altar first, right on its original spot.
Why that specific focus right out of the gate?
Well, the text is clear. It was so they could immediately start offering burnt offerings again.
Ah, according to the law of Moses.
Precisely. It wasn't just symbolic. It was about restoring that core worship practice immediately. They started the daily sacrifices on the very first day of that seventh month.
Wow, day one. And didn't it mention something about the local people?
It does. It specifically says they did this despite their fear of the peoples around them.
That detail really jumps out, acting despite fear.
It really does. It shows that for them, reconnecting with God through worship, it trumped even their immediate sense of physical safety.
So a powerful statement of priorities. What came after the altar was functional.
Well, with that spiritual core reestablished, they moved pretty quickly to other observances.
Like the festivals.
Exactly. The Feast of Tabernacles is mentioned, plus the new moon sacrifices and, other required feasts and even free will offerings.
So all this worship activity is happening before the main temple structure is even started.
That's right. Before the foundation was laid, it really underscores how central worship itself was to their whole identity in this process of return.
Okay, so the spiritual side is reignited. How did they then pivot to the practical construction, the big stuff?
Well, once that foundation of worship was set, they turned to logistics.
Money and materials, I assume.
Yep. They gave money to the masons and carpenters, and they organized provisions, food, drink, oil for the Sidonians and Tyrians.
To bring timber.
Cedar logs, yeah, shipped from Lebanon. And the text notes this was all authorized by King Cyrus of Persia, the one who let them return.
So there's this interplay. Spiritual commitment first, then the practical steps, but with official backing.
Exactly. You need both working together.
Okay, so when did the actual physical work on the temple foundation kick off?
That begins in the second month of their second year back in Jerusalem.
Right, and the leaders is Zerubbabel and Jeshua, they're still front and center.
They are, along with the priests, the Levites, and, well, everyone who had returned.
And didn't it mention specific roles for the Levites?
Yes. It says Levites who were 20 years old or more were appointed to supervise the work on the house of the Lord.
Overseeing the construction. Makes sense, given their temple duties.
Right. They were stepping into that leadership role for the rebuilding itself.
And then comes the big moment, laying the foundation. The description is quite vivid.
Oh, absolutely. It's portrayed as a major event, almost a ceremony.
What did that look like?
Well, when the builders laid the foundation, you had priests in their vestments with trumpets.
Okay.
And the Levites, specifically the sons of Asaph, known for their music in the Old Temple, were there with cymbals.
To praise God, right? Following the traditions from King David's time.
Exactly, keeping that continuity. And they sang that refrain, "He is good, his love to Israel endures forever."
And the reaction.
A huge shout of joy from all the people. I mean, the foundation of the Lord's house was finally laid.
A massive moment of celebration.
But there's more to it. The text immediately pivots.
How so?
It contrasts that joyous shouting with another sound. Many of the older priests, Levites, and family heads, those who remembered Solomon's temple,
They were there too.
they were there, and they wept aloud when they saw this new foundation.
Wept. Not tears of joy.
No, it seems like tears of grief, remembering the magnificence of the first temple, the one that was destroyed, comparing it, perhaps.
Wow. So grief for what was lost, right alongside the joy for the new beginning.
Exactly that. You have this incredible, intense mix of emotions happening all at once. Shouts of joy blending with loud weeping.
And the sound was just overwhelming.
Totally. The text says the noise was so great you couldn't tell the difference between the sound of joy and the sound of weeping. It was just this one huge, complex sound heard far away.
That's incredibly powerful. Rebuilding isn't just bricks and mortar, is it?
Not at all. As Ezra 3 shows, it's deeply emotional. It ties the present work directly back to past memory, both the glory and the loss.
That sound of progress wasn't simple triumph. It was joy and lament all mixed together, indistinguishable.
Which really makes you think, doesn't it? When we're building or rebuilding things in our lives or communities, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
how do we actually make space for both? For celebrating the new thing, the
Yeah.
progress, but also acknowledging, even grieving what came before or what was lost along the way. How do we hold that tension?